we don't really need to be here. Just to give you a bit of context, we've been together for a couple of years now.
You mean 3 years?
Well, yeah, as I was saying, we've been together for 2 or 3 years now, but just recently we've been stuck on a boat for 71 days, 24/7, without a country to go to. It was very stressful out at sea, and all the concentrated goodness and love there, and we had a big fight, and I think it's natural for couples to have a fight, especially in that sort of situation, but the fact of the matter is Margarita didn't want to kill me.
Who told you I did not want to kill you?
Okay, well, she didn't end up killing me, and so therefore we don't really need to be here. We met in Cairns, and that's in Australia, about 2 years ago.
3 years.
As I was saying, we met in Cairns on a boat 2 or 3 years ago. By jingo, by crikey, I was so excited I had just picked up some new crew in Cairns. I have had lots of other crew before, the Italians, the Cosmopolitan, and the Scandinavians. But all this sailor wanted was one wife, not 2, 3 or 4. Maybe this time it was going to be different. We got new crew!
Hi!
This is Margarida from Portugal!
Hello guys.
Now, she's probably going to shake her head at me going, Peter, you're embarrassing me, but come over here, Margarita. This is all of Margarita's gear. It weighs more than her! That was not the first time I met Margarita. In fact, I don't even have film of when I first met Margarita. I mean, I remember I was tying up the dinghy to the dock, and I looked up and I was stunned. I mean, all I saw was this, because the sun was behind her, this beautiful long brown hair, these tiny, tiny little shorts, and these beautiful feet that walked up to me. And I was a little bit shaken, people, but don't you worry. I collected it all together and I became very suave and charming. And I went, "G'day, beautiful. Welcome to Australia." And I gave her a little hug.
No,
It's exactly how.
that's clearly not how it happens.
That's exactly how it happened, people.
He lost his balance on the dinghy and he was rumbled something that I could not even understand.
Yeah, well, look. My recollection
He
is
just likes to give an impression that it's like all charming and oh yeah, I'm a playboy. No, it wasn't like that at all.
We all know who you should believe, people. Now, what I suggest is you get a pad and paper because you're going to hear it from the master. We climb mountains, you see everyone is relaxed and happy, and then there's a bit of this. Yep, I like this place already. The hills are alive. Oh, that's enough of that. I was so happy that I just wanted to sing. I don't want to jump the gun, but I reckon a solid foundation of friendship and maybe more is being born right here.
Help me! Anyone out there? I'm stuck on a boat with a crazy person. He makes us walk to the tops of mountains and wants kisses for rewards. He sings to us and it's awful. I asked to be taken back to the mainland, but he said anchor was stuck. Please help me. I'm trapped. He's coming. I have to go.
This is how to get through a cold, hard exterior, people. I took her to beautiful white beaches that seemed to never end. Yeah, they were full of crocodiles, but that's okay. Nothing's perfect. I found her a nice shell. Well, it was a bit rough, but that's okay. So am I. I gave her nice flowers. Yeah, I know, people. I know what you're thinking. This guy really is the master. And you'd be right. I think it's working. Whenever I'm around, the earth is moving for her and she can hardly even stand. The next part of the plan is to show her some good old Australian charm. But how to do it, people? I know, I've got it. But first, this community announcement. Now, I just have to warn all the non-Australians out there about how dangerous it is in Australia, and you've got to obey all the signs. I mean, if you don't, you could get eaten by a shark or a crocodile, or if you get too close to the water, a box jellyfish will just take your head clean off just by looking at you. So look, it's very important. Obey the signs or you could get killed. Girls, we've got a problem. We can't walk any further unless you get naked.
Oh, it's only nudes for me. That's what the sign says. I don't make the rules. I just follow the sign.
Oh, damn it.
Margarita's not very impressed.
We don't want to break the laws.
She's practically naked anyway. What's the problem?
Admittedly, the charm didn't go so well, and she may have been a bit pissed, so to cool her off, we went swimming. I don't know what it is, but I really like the swimming. Check out the water, people. That's really clear water. I swam too, but I lost all the footage of me swimming. You can thank me later. Now, because this is a learning channel, if you look closely at the bottom, there is a coral called a Acropora cervicornis. That's right, people. You have learnt that right here. It gives me great joy to show you stuff like that. I wish I could show you more, but Margarita is incorrigible. Wherever I point that damn camera, she bloody appears. Call me old-fashioned, but I'm just too considerate, and I just can't ask her to stop. I guess I'll just have to put up with it. Oh, the games that we played. It was suggested to me that if she got over this piece of foam, then I could get another kiss. She didn't seem to have much motivation, though. Now let's look to the second jump. Wow, seems to be even worse. I was going to suggest to her to spring more from her legs, but really, there was only one thing for it. I'm going to have to cheat. I will spin the foamy thing and throw her over. But no kiss though. Now apparently I have to go over too. My goodness, people, I'll have to go through flaming hoops next. Okay, I got over. How about Wooing is an art form, people, and you can't rush an artist. At a very lonely beach in the middle of nowhere, full of crocodiles and brown snakes, don't worry about the danger, Margarita. I will look after you. I know my towel is only small, but it's big enough for two. Like a fly in a spider's web, people. And then all of a sudden, Margarita was out to impress. She was baiting the traps, putting them out and retrieving them from crocodile-infested waters, armed only in a bikini. Catching big fish, whoa, that's a beauty. Cleaning them, preparing and cooking them. And then cleaning my very dirty bottom. As you can see, she's doing a damn fine job. She is one tough bundle. She even takes on crocodiles.
Crocodile! Stupido! Kira! Help me! Stupid, that's my dinner! I cannot hear me.
This was love, people. I think I've found my wife, but there's one very important test that needs to be fulfilled.
Hey, Margarita, I'm still after an apology.
You can still be waiting.
What was that?
You can still be waiting.
Now, I've heard of this strange behaviour before, people, from old-timers and guys that have been married for a while. My wife never says sorry. She never apologises, ever. Well, look what we got here, people. Margarita's not apologising. She ought to, but she ain't budging. Looks like wife material to me.
Bums together, bums apart.
For those unfamiliar with Bulgarian bum wars, here are the rules. Do not move feet, and only dislodge your opponent with bum thrusts. Very easy.
Bums together, bums apart, bums together. Go!
Did you see that, people? She doesn't even pay attention to the rules. She makes up her own. And I've noticed in other cases, sometimes even when she makes up her own, she has to morph them into something else when she starts losing. I had to run this past some of the married guys I knew, and they said, whoa, baby, that's 100% fair dinkum wife material. And also, she's probably got a couple of upgrades as well. What? Upgrades? That's got to be a good thing, surely, people. Bloody great. Mount Everest was achieved, people, but you can't be too keen, otherwise she'll dump you like a bad habit. Great.
Peter, is there any room there for me?
Nah.
So that's how it's done, people. I hope you've taken some notes. But just a quick recap to be sure, you got to try and keep them on board for at least 2 months so they can see your charming side. Things that will assist are, gee, the anchor's stuck and the motor's broken. But don't go breaking the law, people. False imprisonment's a crime. But try and be charming, and then after 2 months, you can have your own wife too. Look, I know it definitely works. It worked for me. It also worked for a 67-year-old French-Swiss guy who had a French sculptress, would you believe, on board of age 33. And apparently after a couple of weeks, they were going like rabbits. Mind you, he was the most charming person I have ever met in my life. But that's not hard to be charming. Wobble your head, say a nice thing, get a boat, and you can have your own French sculptress too. I think what created a lot of the tension was the fact that we got rejected by so many countries, and Margarita didn't know where she was going to be in 2 or 3 days' time, or a week, or a month. That was just very stressful for her. I thought the situation was so unreal that I found myself chuckling to myself a couple of times. I just knew it was going to be okay in the end. We just had to keep on plodding along. Everything was always going to be all right.
Yeah, because he lives in fairyland. He believes in rainbows, marshmallows and unicorns, and he doesn't see things through. So his motor is definitely not better safe than sorry.
Well, being from Australia where there's hardly any crime and it's pretty safe, yeah, I'm on the light side, whereas Margarita's on the dark side. She sees all the danger and all the problems. So that's why I think we're good for each other, because we're therapy for each other. I'm 80 kilos of therapy.
I think that's too much therapy.
I know I mentioned that I was on the lighter side and Margarita was on the darker side, but there's no implication that she's Darth Vader or anything like that.
I wish I had the force and I could bend him to do things properly.
So who wants to know what it costs us per day living for the 71 days? Margarita, do you want to know?
I already know, but you're going to find out now.
All right, now these figures are just an approximation because we didn't actually write down every rice grain we ate. But I think it's pretty good because when we went to Bocas del Toro, the bag of rubbish we had was only quite small. So here is the list.
Somewhere on the screen. So we approximately spend $1.85 per day for the both of us.
Just
and this
food.
Is food.
Now, if you want to then add in our dinghy fuel and diesel, we come up to a grand total of $3 per day for the both of us. Now, surprisingly, the value of $3 per day for both of us is what we lived on the entire last year.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
4?
I don't understand the question. I'm married. Am I supposed to be happy too?
So I think about me, I would have made an investment of having more seasick patches because that's what ruined me for part of the trip.
A long part of the trip.
It was very expensive in the Cairns, so you have an idea. In a little box for the patches comes 2 patches, and each patches lasts for 72 hours. That means 3 days, and it was $15 per package. So I just got for 15 days. I thought it was enough. But if we weren't selling for the 3 days in a row, and it was just for a day, I was wasting the patch, half of it. So
yeah, and you bought plenty for the trip to go to Cuba and then go back to Jamaica.
Yeah,
but the trouble is
I think I would had enough if we got to the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, if we did it continually. So what about chocolate, my dear?
Oh yeah, I think I would have some comfort food because it definitely makes me happy.
Yeah,
Some
we all
cookies.
remember the brownie, people. Oh my goodness, that brownie is still spoken of today with great fondness. Me not, but the brownie, yes. What would I have done differently? What did I think I did wrong? What?
I forgot something. Sorry.
Yep.
No, I would have went to, knowing what I know now from what our friends did, I would have gone to Port Antonio and in Jamaica, north of Jamaica, saying, no, I'm staying here. I'm not leaving. because that's what they did. And they were allowed to stay, and after 2 weeks or 3 weeks they were allowed to go to land, not to where everyone is, to a small like little island close to the mainland. Of course they had the embassies involved, which helped and made us
High commissioners, the king's representative, and all of that, and so it made it easier for them. Unfortunately, we never actually went into Jamaica, so they didn't reject us. We just turned away from Jamaica because they had instigated their second border closure. What I did wrong was I should have realised at that time that the world had gone crazy.
Well, we didn't know.
Or it was super serious. And the Dominican Republic's one was, the first border closure was due to expire in like 6 or 7 days. I should have anticipated that they were going to do that again because they're similar to Jamaica. And I shouldn't have even attempted to go to the Dominican Republic.
We just thought it would be like those 2 weeks, and then they would send it 2 weeks. We said, okay, it's not going to go more than a month.
Yeah.
And then, well,
and
it's
it did.
the way it is.
And
no.
It did. So I should have gone straight to Morant Cays, just gone past Jamaica and gone to Morant Cays, and the dear Margarita would have had way less issues and way less problems. And I think it would have made a better trip in the end overall, because
well, we don't know. I would have gone to Port Antonio and just stick my foot down.
Oh yeah, I mean, knowing the Port Antonio thing now, it's just that when guys with guns are on the boat and they're not physically pointing them at you, but their fingers above the trigger guard, and they're saying quite angrily to me, Margarita said it wasn't so much, but he seemed quite agitated, the Dominican Republic guy. You go now and you are not allowed to come back within the 6 mile limit. We go. And in Haiti, what was really freaky is they were so agitated and they were super scared. And after I got bitten twice, I didn't even want to try Jamaica at all. So that was the hiding situation that we thought would be the best way of handling this. So yeah, that's the only thing different. We should have gone straight to Morant Cays.
Since the fight, how often have you had sex?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I'm lost. Is this a 1 to 10 thing? Including the weekend?
Sure.
Do you remember that flashlight that sort of bothered me a bit at Barrio Nuevo? What do you reckon that was? Well, I've been thinking about it. I have a cunning plan. Well, actually, it's not my cunning plan. I reckon that crayfisherman, because I reckon I was a crayfisherman, and he is quite cunning. I reckon he's not supposed to be here. He might be Nicaraguan or Honduran or something. He's got all of his pots on GPS, and what he does is he sets the rope short. So the buoy just hangs underneath the surface, and there might be a little bit of reflective tape or a bit of aluminium or something on it. And in the middle of the day, you're not going to see them. It could be as little as 10 metres away. You wouldn't see them. But at night, they'll stand out like dog's balls with the flashlight. So I reckon he sets them all short, and God knows how many pots he has, but probably enough for one night. And he goes in and he goes and checks them all out. And the flashing light up to us was just merely random and inadvertent. And maybe like he sees the pot and he goes, oh, there's a pot, Mario. And then he gets the pole and he throws the flashlight under his arm to hook it and bring it up, and then it flashes up to us.
As you know, a successful relationship requires respect.
Yeah, that word respect, it's very important. I mean, at the start of the relationship, I had my chalk line, but it got rubbed out. So I drew it again, probably a little bit closer because it's easy to draw. I don't even think it was rubbed out the second time. It was just jumped over, and there's no real line. I mean, that's not civilized. I mean, I'm thinking about it, and even warring countries, males on one side and males on the other side that want to kill each other, even they are more civilized. I mean, they have their trench system and then they have their barbed wire. Well, the barbed wire is their chalk line. The other side has their trench system and their barbed wire, their chalk line. They are so civilized that they have 2 chalk lines, and then there's a bit of land in between that's an established no man's land, and they don't go there unless the captain or the major says you got to go there, but they don't want to go there. They don't want to jump their chalk line. That's how civilised they are. They've got 2 damn chalk lines. Can you imagine a war with females? It'd just be one huge melee. It'd be crazy. And it wouldn't just be war in country A versus war in country B. It'd be like a group of high heel girls here, which wouldn't even be from country A. They'd rope in some people from country B. And then over here there'd be the purse group. Here the lots of clothes of different colour group. And of course all the way over there would be the eating disorder group. So what do you reckon that boat was that came past us at Serrana Bank in the middle of the night? The one with the dim glowing light? Well, I've done a bit of research and I've found out that, basically, first, for starters, did you know that a lot of these islands and reefs, including Bajo Nuevo, are being claimed by a whole multitude of nations? Like even the US of A, which is miles and miles away, is claiming Bajo Nuevo ever since like 1872. And the Jamaicans have been claiming for 100 or so years, and the Nicaraguans are still claiming it because it's off their coastline, and the Honduras. Everyone's getting a claim on it. But it's only the Colombian Navy that's doing the rounds. And indeed the Colombian military personnel are on some of the islands. So they're maintaining a military presence, so ipso facto, it's theirs. So I reckon it was a small Colombian warship, and the dim glow I was seeing is just the instruments. I imagine a warship, I don't know for a fact, goes dark, is black, so it doesn't have any lights because it doesn't want to advertise its presence. But I was seeing some of the instruments reflecting off the back wall or the light or something, or maybe it was the radar bloom, I don't know. But that's my best guess. The other guess I think it could have been is because of these times everything was in shutdown and there were no boats supposed to be leaving shores of any country, just to limit the spread of the virus. I reckon some poor fishermen from Nicaragua, say, or Honduras or wherever, in an old trawler with an old radar equipment, was just doing the rounds, just trying to just feed his family, and thought no one would be out there and was just doing the rounds. And we happened to be there, and it was just purely coincidental. Mind you, if he did have radar and he picked us up on it, he could have thought, well, look, there's no one else out here. This could be a nice ripe plum, and we can just take it and there'll be no fuss and no one's going to come and help them out. So that's a possibility too. But look, when I think about it, I really think it was the Colombian Navy, and they were just about to kick us off again.
Who usually starts the fights?
Him.
She does. Arguments. Now that is a special category. I mean, I hate arguing. I don't know any male that likes arguing. And yet, with monotonous regularity, I find myself in an argument. How is this possible? I'm starting to think it's chemical. I mean, I certainly do not feel good after a confrontation or a fight. And yet, the other party is wanting to fight all the time. So they must be feeling good. They must be getting some sort of release. Maybe, I don't know. Look, there could be a few $1 million worth of research, maybe a few $100 million worth of research that would be well spent in trying to investigate this, because I tell you what, it's crazy. I don't know how we can go from one argument, which is basically an opinion like, say, the other party likes the Bee Gees, and I'll go, fine, that's good. But no, I've got to give an opinion. And then you might say some things and you might sort of start applying logic and getting the upper hand. And then the argument morphs into something else. I've never understood how this happened. There's a new set of rules and it keeps on going. And then just when you start to get on top of that argument, it morphs again. It keeps on morphing until it does a whole 180 and it's now, I hate the Bee Gees from the other side. How is this possible?
Thank you to our patrons and all our amazing followers for your kind words, that you were worried when we went away and we stayed a month without posting videos because we didn't have internet and you didn't know what was about us, if we're healthy or not, what was going on. So we really thank you, appreciate all the love that you've been sending to us.
Yeah, I went through all the comments and look, 99.9% were people were worried and they were sending prayers and good wishes, and I think that pushed us through. So good on you, people. It was so wonderful to read. There was a couple saying, "Oi, you're not posting any videos," but we don't need to mention that. I don't think they were really caring about our well-being at all. They were just missing their weekly fix of sailing into freedom.
That's fair enough, because you used to get them every Friday.
Yes, I know, we can be addictive. But there you have it, people. Top stuff.
Thank you.
Relationships on a boat is all about concentrated goodness in a tight, confined space for long periods of time. Like, just imagine you get this much love and you compress it and then you squeeze it more and more. Are you familiar with a black hole? We're talking about a black hole of concentrated goodness of love where no light can escape.
Wow, you guys look great. Oh, you look so happy, so relaxed. What's your secret?
Ask us the sex question again.
Don't forget to press like, subscribe, and click the bell button.
Right, and this is definitely the last episode about us being at Exile. We sort of had a little fib last week saying the last one was the last episode, but this is definitely the last episode unless we think of something else.